With Lilo & Stitch hitting theaters this month, fans are disappointed. This is to be expected with these live-action remakes that have been so popular lately. But the real question on my mind is why? Why has Disney prioritized these abominations that are practically speedrunning the end of their legacy? And for what? Certainly the payoff cannot be that great, can it? Well, what if I were to tell you that the first time Disney learned how to reanimate a corpse and feed it to an entire new generation of starry-eyed consumers, it turned them over a profit of $2 billion and much more to come. The Force Awakens is proof in the flesh that not all which glitters is gold. In an attempt to remove themselves entirely from the prequel trilogy, Disney's sequel trilogy lands themselves on the other side of the same very dirty coin. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. This film is literally A New Hope repackaged with none of the charm and a thorough defacing of all the characters that you knew and loved, and it raked in a nice hefty $2 billion for the company. The key differences between The Force Awakens and the rest of Disney's live-action remakes are a mix of things. First, time, and secondly, the illusion of a continuation. A lot of people who saw The Force Awakens upon release and fell for its exploitation of nostalgia have since changed their minds about the film simply because the effect wore off. The leg up that this movie has over, say, Lilo & Stitch is that it makes you think it's doing something new when new characters are on screen. It elicits deep old nostalgia when you see old characters on screen, and it makes you think that it is breaking new grounds with $300 million and a trash compactor full of CGI. While The Force Awakens does not precede all live-action remakes put out by the studio, I would say that it definitely kickstarted the rope-in effect and funded the future live-action remakes to come, and since its release in 2017, there have been many. And thus began the ultimate nothing burger era for Disney. The recipe for the nothing burger is simple. We have $300 million, you have nostalgia, repeat. However, there is another subcategory of consumers that are not enchanted by what Disney has to offer to the franchise. When I conducted a poll on Instagram, I asked my viewership what their most favorite critical failures were and least favorite critical successes were. Guess what the most voted answer in the overrated category was? The Star Wars sequels. I would say that this subcategory of people includes superfans of Star Wars, and it includes superfans of the art of film as a whole. In other words, people who are picky. And I may be biased because I do think I fall under this category of a selective consumer, but it is picky audiences that keep the art of film alive. They do not, however, quench Disney's unending thirst for money. But hey, let's take a step back. Let's look at the bigger picture. Is it really that deep? I mean, at the end of the day, people actually like the franchise more with the sequels in them. Some people, at least. They really appreciate them. Film crews and artists are getting jobs, new actors are being able to break into the industry. I mean, hey, that's what it's all about, right? So how can we really be mad? And hey, at some point, Disney's going to run out of franchises to rehash, and they will have to start hiring real visionaries for new creative ideas, right? Yeah, not exactly. The future for art is looking bleak, my friends. Or as an alternative adjective, it is looking airbrushed. If there is nothing that mega corporations love more, it is something shiny, polished, agreeable, and guaranteed to rake in millions upon millions of dollars. So yeah, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Disney will be saving a lot of hiring dollars in the near future. We might have actually left the age of new ideas already without even realizing it. And yes, I am referring to AI, but take a break from artificial intelligence and just look at what Disney already has done. Let's look at the production of Moana 2. Basically, most of Disney's animated films are animated in-house under a union in America, but because Moana 2 was supposed to be a Disney Plus spin-off series, it was actually animated from a Canadian animation company, void of a lot of the legal protections you would find here in the States. TLDR, they were overpaid pennies. The article reads, if Moana 2 reaches $1 billion at the box office, it might encourage Disney to continue producing films under such rush conditions, prioritizing speed and profitability over the creative process and well-being of their artists. This movie sets a dangerous precedent, as Disney and other major studios might decide to have non-unionized do the work, since those workers can be pushed harder with fewer protections. My point in saying this is that even without the inevitable doom of artificial intelligence, Disney and other megacorporations will still find ways to pull the humanity out of everything for the sake of turning a profit. Although it is not a provable fact that Disney has ever or will ever use artificial intelligence in any of their movies, I'm not saying that, there will always be something noticeably absent from all of their films to come. Humanity. Nothing they have released in recent years feels even remotely human. We don't need to look any further than Disney's Star Wars alone to see how inhuman film has become. Let me give you some examples. Let's take a step back and let's look at, say, Han Solo's character. In the trilogy, Han's character comes across as cool, gunslinging, maybe overconfident, but the finer details imply that he is reasonably anxious and coming to like his friends a lot more than he may be willing to admit. This is human. Contrast that to The Force Awakens, where Han's character has hardly progressed other than by abandoning everyone in his life, especially his son, and dies a loser. This is unnatural. Luke Skywalker is so full of hope that he proves two of the greatest Jedi to ever exist wrong about whether or not there is any good left in his mass-murdering father, and it is through the relationship of father and son that he allows Vader to re-embody the long-lost Anakin Skywalker, thus killing Palpatine and fulfilling the prophecy as the Chosen One. This is hopeful. In The Last Jedi, Luke is a giant baby who critiques the absolutes of the Jedi by abandoning all of his dearest companions. Anakin's redemption is now futile, because the master he overthrew lives and the son he died for is useless. This is pointless. In A New Hope, the Empire has only recently risen to power and underestimate the will and might of the rebels. Therefore, they see no reason to further analyze and exhaust port in the Death Star. Here, the Empire is overzealous and therefore human. According to Rogue One, the Empire left a man who clearly did not like them alone, unsupervised, to build their war weapon 9000, and he included a fatal flaw in its design. Here, the Empire is just stupid. In the original trilogy, Han's ship may be a hunk of junk, but under his operation, it proves to be insanely capable. It is essentially a modified bicycle, and if that sounds crazy, of course it is. But Han is so talented with it that it is revered as one of the most epic icons in any fantasy franchise. Han and his ship may be
not entirely stable,
but they are human.
Take the professor in the back and plug him into the hyperdrive.
In The Force Awakens, Rey whips it like it's a bumper car to flee the First Order, despite having little to no previous piloting experience. This removes all the charm and character of the Millennium Falcon.
I bypassed the compressor.
So then now let's take a step back and let's look at Lilo and Stitch. In the animated film, Lilo and Nani both have severe emotional regulation issues because their family is very broken. Dr. Jumba creates this little blue death machine just for the fun of it, but when he meets Lilo and Nani, he sees the humanity in them, finds some humanity in himself.
Hey,
Much like Stitch's arc, and ultimately decides to help them for the betterment of everyone. In the CGI, or the live action Lilo and Stitch, Nani leaves Lilo. Both of their personalities are nerfed down to be about as human as a Walmart photo frame placeholder. Dr. Jumba is just bad, and Stitch is like a blue dog or whatever, with basically no emotional arc at all. And I'm literally not even going to touch on some of the other big remakes lately, like Snow White, because those have just been obliterated into nothing. But what I will say is that there's nothing less human than 7 CGI animated dwarfs and costuming that looks like it came from Party City. No nuance, no finer details, airbrushed, clean, agreeable, profitable. This is the code that Disney and its story writers operate on. They have such little humanity and ethics already that when the inevitable shift in story quality and storytelling style happens, I doubt that we will even notice. Eventually, humans will be gone and it'll go right under our noses because it's really not that much different from what's going on right now. Now, by the end of recording this video, I have changed my mind on one thing, however, which is, as much as I would like to say that not all which glitters is gold, you can buy a lot of gold for $2 billion. Thank you, Marsha Lucas. You saved Star Wars.
I know what that is!